Welcome to Big Geeky Couch, the only...
Wow, you gotta read it.
Welcome to Big Geeky Couch, the only podcast where half the reviewers make comics and the other half don't. That doesn't mean they're lesser, just different. It's all okay. I'm your host, Kit Jaspering. With me, as always, is David Lillie, author of Dreamkeepers and owner guy of Vivid Publishing. Chad Perkins, lead host of Comics Are Cool, and our tall, dark, and handsome friend, Keith. How you doing, Keith? Feeling okay today?
Good.
Today we're reviewing Happy by Grant Morrison and Derek Robertson. It just had a show debut on Sci-Fi. Apparently it's not half bad. I haven't watched it. I don't have time for television. We're going to sound off on all of our opinions on it.
Oh,
So,
all
right.
Starting with Chad, what do you got for me today?
Okay, so first off, Happy, I read actually quite a few times.
When did it come out? When did it come out initially?
It came out in 2014, I want to say. Recently.
Hold on, look, it's got a...
Oh, does it?
2012.
2012, okay, so a lot older.
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Look, I held up. 5 years ago.
So, Happy, follows essentially Nick Sachs, who is a hitman, used to be a detective, and he is...
And a drunk.
He's sad, he's broken, and he tries to... I guess
kill Santa Claus.
And he...
Santa Claus is bad, though.
yeah.
Like, I'm not joking when I say Santa Claus wants to rape children, because that's something that happens in this.
Yeah.
It's called Happy, but
It's
probably
not
shouldn't
happy.
let your kids read it.
So after a drug-induced situation with Nick...
A drug-induced situation?
He becomes...
It could be any number of things.
He starts seeing a magical blue unicorn donkey.
And he is not a brony. This was before that happened. So actually, this would have been around the same time, 2012. So
yeah, roughly.
That's probably what they were trying to get in on that audience. To be like, all right, we're gonna make mans out of these little pussies.
I agree.
Like,
I think so.
Maybe that's what they were like. Grant Morrison was like, "What if this was really rated R?"
Yeah. What if this?
Wait. So we're saying Bruce Willis just met My Little Pony right here? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I
don't know.
But this is a Christmas book, though.
The difference, though, is Bruce Willis's characters in movies generally they're at least a little likable. This guy's just a total ass.
He is.
No.
He's not a nice
All
person.
right.
Like
So-
the whole premise of the movie is there's this imaginary character. Like, hey, there's a bunch
It's
of
not a
kids that have
movie,
been
it's a comic book, you comic book artist.
whatever this piece
Wow.
of shit is.
Oh!
So there's this imaginary friend like, oh, we gotta save the kids. They're gonna be murdered, and he's like, I don't care. And that's like 3/4 of the book.
Yeah.
No.
It's just this guy like, I don't care if kids are getting that murdered. I don't care about anything. I'm a
See-
miserable fuck. And so it's not really easy to get into because it's like I don't care about him.
I cared about the horse. I
Yeah,
liked
that.
horse.
Okay, so
I didn't
look,
like. He was irritating. He was just irritating, and
It
that's
was
all.
adorable.
Guys,
I
so
wanted to
Keith-
see his shit get wrecked.
He's imaginary, you can't do it.
I know.
You try and punch an imaginary horse.
Exactly. So
I've tried.
It was like this annoying thing that you can never get rid of in the entire book, and that was the whole book for me.
my only problem with Nick, the story itself was pretty good. At the same time, though, I did feel like Happy was a very incomplete story. I had no reason to actually like Nick as a character, but Happy himself, I was like, I thought he was really fun.
He was pure.
Yeah, he was pure. He was very harmless to the entire story. But Nick, even when Happy tried to reason with him, Nick was like, yeah, fine. Oh, fuck you, dude. I'm going to backstab you. So there was no reason to even trust Nick at all.
That's true. If you did print off the script, 3/4 of the page space would be taken up by the word fuck.
Right, exactly.
There's a lot of,
Which is
and
fine.
also for a Grant Morrison book, like
I think
pretty
this
by
is-
the numbers in terms of
Yeah.
like plot structure. Like it even had the classic Disney like, oh, the guy who went away comes back to save the day, which I hate that shit.
Yeah.
But that was the only part of it because I'm like, okay, I know he's gonna come back because like this is what happens. The guy's like, we don't like each other. Like
Honestly, I just kind of felt like it was designed to be that type of cliche. Just kind of like the mixing of two different genres, like, and ideas. Yeah,
Sure.
You think so?
And like I actually overall liked the book. Just that part, I was like,
right,
okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
because
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like,
But it certainly wasn't in terms of Grant Morrison. We're
It
not
was
talking.
not Grant
We're not
Morrison,
talking
no.
like Final Crisis, where it's like, what if I lifted a book that has all the stories in the world in it? What does that even mean? It's like whatever. You got to draw it, artist. Like that's what I told you was happening. So wait, the vampire feeds off of narrative. Yeah. So how do they beat him? Superman makes a wish on the miracle machine. How does he do it? He has to sing the perfect song.
Which is what is the perfect song?
I assume it's a Katy Perry song.
I'm starting to understand why you find this acceptable.
Dude, no, Final Crisis is awesome. It's so good.
Yeah.
Final Crisis is one of my favorite books.
The thing is, with Grant
it's just real crazy.
Grant Morrison, I always was surprised with his books.
Yeah, I do like. That's what I like.
Yeah.
About him. He knows how to pull. All those drugs really came through for him.
Well, I mean, yeah. But this book here, I feel like he was going really slowly off the drugs when he did this book.
2012 would have been about that time.
Yeah.
He's sober now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that probably explains why he doesn't make anything.
There's still little details.
He owns Heavy Metal Magazine.
Well, yeah.
There's like little details in this that bug me though that I don't get, and I don't know if I'm just like stupid reading it, but like for example, all those but all those hospital orderlies are like coming down the hall to torture him, and so Nick is like, "Oh, I'm totally drugged up, and I'm just gonna beat you all up because I'm the badassest of the badasses." And but the thing is, he kicks their asses so hard, a gun materializes in his hand.
Does that really happen?
Yes, it does, and it actually materializes as well.
That's good power.
So, guys, I'm not even trying to talk about the TV show, though.
But where did the gun come from?
But that happens in the TV show, too.
Like, it's
like he just materializes
He,
stuff.
just punches a guy so hard there's a gun in his hand? How does that work?
Maybe the guy had a gun in his mouth.
That must
Holy
have been
crap, it does.
Where does that happen?
Where?
Wait, I mean, look, he's unarmed, he's like beating the crap out
Should
of
we get the
it.
mini cam?
Yeah,
Do any of those guys have a gun? Like,
he's unarmed.
No,
He's been
doesn't show a
sedated.
gun until the first
he's got a gun here.
Yeah,
But see,
he doesn't have one.
This bugs me
anywhere
because
else
he's
throughout
unarmed.
the whole
He's
thing.
been sedated.
Yeah, they don't have any guns. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Where does he get that?
The first gun that shows up is
Maybe the horse guy.
outside of him is a
Maybe
security
the gun's
guard.
imaginary.
But see, that's like the first point where I was like, what the hell? Then the next point was when he's at the poker game with all these like 5 like thugs that are all grizzly, and one guy was like a gigantic cowboy, a wall of muscle, and his whole face is made of
And then he
earthworms.
just decks him out like it's nothing.
No, but that's the thing is like, he wins the game. He's like, okay, I'm gonna leave with all your money, and they're like, you better not leave. We're pointing a gun right at the back of your head. And then Nick's like, I'm grumbly, and they're like, don't reach for that weapon. He's like, what kind of a weapon is a pen? And then there's a cut.
And then
And
they're
then
all.
they're all like,
it's
it's
like
like
they're all dead.
I was like, what the hell?
I remember that part.
We've established that he can't dodge bullets because he took 2 in the vest earlier. So how did he magically just like? Did he like Nightcrawler himself behind the guy?
Maybe he unmaterialized the bullets.
So the only thing I can think of is like, okay, we're establishing that he's so badass, he can have 5 guys that have him dead to rights across the room with a handgun, and he just kicks their ass anyways because he's so badass. And then at the end of the book,
Because he believes in Christmas, Dave.
yeah, but at the end of the book, there's like a fat Santa Claus guy who's like all strung out on heroin and like practically falling over dead, about to rape some kids. And then suddenly Nick can't handle this one like drugged out Santa Claus. It's like, what the fuck? I thought he could throw a whole room of guys out the window.
Because of heroin, dude.
Maybe he was tired.
Heroin is a downer though.
Well, that's true.
No, it's an upper.
Well, it's a sedative. It's more.
Let's try it. Hang on,
Makes
let's
you
get out the heroin.
All right, yeah. Liz, get on the heroin. Chop, chop.
But anyways,
See, here's the thing, though. I thought Happy itself as a book is very harmless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the rest in the grand scheme of things, it is a very, very basic story.
Yeah, because it's a one-shot, so
Yeah,
it kind of
it's
has
a very
to be.
thing. But at the same time, I felt like it was very incomplete. Maybe 2 more issues. I would
Really?
give it. Yeah, absolutely. At
I
least
didn't
to
think about that
fill
at all.
in as to why I should care about Nick as a character.
True.
Because I wasn't feeling that at all. No matter what he came out of his mouth, I was like, I don't feel for you.
We did get that whole thing where it goes back and it shows him like when he was like a more not horrible
Okay,
person.
but I still didn't care.
Right. Oh, okay. See,
Like,
I did at that point.
see-
I was like, oh, okay. So he wasn't always like this.
No, but I just felt like there was nothing.
Mostly, I want the horse to have a happy ending. But
mostly I wanted the horse to die.
I love
Why? I loved Happy.
You write a comic about imaginary animals, you dick.
Yeah, but that one is competition.
Ooh.
Gotta get him out of the
Shots
picture.
fired. No, well, so like, but the thing is Happy's a dead man walking because that little girl's gonna grow up. She's gonna stop having her imaginary horse friends.
Well,
unless
as far
she's
as we
real
know,
crazy.
and that was another thing I can definitely say that with this book is the imaginary friends are just kind of there. Like Happy
because
himself.
that's how little kids just have them.
Yeah, but Nick can see her. Like, Nick can see it. He's
It's
the
his
only one who
daughter.
can see it. But the Santa Claus, who is on heroin, can also see him.
Yeah,
Oh.
heroin does amazing things.
That's
Well.
my last solid critique point that I had, because I'm all grumpy and pissy about this book. My last solid critique point is like, okay, so Nick Sachs, he's this hardened badass who doesn't like anything, and he's totally unlikable. But then, like, basically at the end of the book, he's like, wait, the hostage is my daughter? Suddenly I care.
Right, suddenly you care. Like,
But
and you're like,
I mean,
every
you would.
time we've seen the kid, She's just like tied up with a rag stuffed in her mouth. She has no personality. She never shows any kind of pluck, or it's like, so I don't even care about the hostage.
Right.
It's the most boring, like cookie cutter. It's like, oh, she's a child. You have to care. I don't.
So you're talking about the extra issues, so that would do that. For me, I'm just like, oh, dad senses kick in, kid save, doesn't matter. Don't need no personality.
See, I don't have a kid, like so. I
don't either. Like, I can't even have kids.
Oh, really? That's weird. I didn't think of Keith. What do you think?
I can't have a butt baby.
Keith, what did you think of Happy?
Give it time.
Well,
I'm
on spot.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, it's like a show where you talk about your opinions.
My opinion. Okay.
You also got to interrupt everybody too.
What?
Yeah,
I did that a couple times.
You did.
Please do.
Do it more.
Okay. Do it more. Okay.
Like I'm talking and right.
Fuck you, Dave!
So
it's great.
In my personal opinion, in terms of Happy, I agree with you. It's kind of harmless. I don't really. Let's put it this way. I kind of viewed it kind of like how I view a lot of like the action movies and things like that. It's not really. I didn't read too much into it because it just felt like it was designed to be. Well, thank you. But I just felt like it was more designed for just that mindless, crazy violence for the most part.
Sure. I've talked about how a lot of comics these days, especially one-shots and stuff, are pretty much just the companies expediting sales pitches for potential TV series and movies.
True. Yeah.
And this kind of feels like that. Like, this makes an easy pitch for a movie or a show, so that's fine.
Right.
Overall, I thought it was all right. Like, it's not like, oh my god, it's amazing. I mean, with Grant Morrison, there's stuff I've liked more of his with Derek Robertson. You know, who's the artist on Transmetropolitan, which is one of my favorite comics. So I felt like the artwork was really it was different from his stuff. I think someone else inked it.
You think so?
Or it was either the inking or the coloring, but it was very different from his work on Transmet. Let's see.
Coloring Richard Clark?
I mean, I don't know who he colored Transmet.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it could be that he inked it on this because it was an image thing instead of because Transmet was Vertigo.
Well, Vertigo was also very like liney painted, like a painted liney art style. This is more of a.
This was much darker. Well, what this was this is a much darker style. It felt like there was a lot heavier line weight than what you saw in Transmet. Where Transmet was very colorful, but also still like really gross all the time because it was just the worst. It was like. Transmet was essentially Futurama, but like if they could get away with an R rating. Now, anyway, not to talk too much about other comics.
No, that's fine. Now, would you guys recommend Happy?
I feel like it's something my mom would like.
You think so?
Weirdly enough, my mom likes this kind of stuff.
I agree with you, and I will say that, yes, the TV series is a little bit better than the book. At least according to the first episode that I've seen so far.
If you really like Roger Rabbit, but you just wish that it was...
a lot darker than what it usually actually is.
If you were like, Roger Rabbit, I like it, but everyone's too likable. This is for you.
See, I would recommend this for somebody who is like, just wants a fun, mindless, harmless fun.
Honestly, if you like...
harmless, mindless fun.
Honestly, if you like...
I will say that.
Okay, so I personally would just recommend it for anybody who likes Fast and Furious, right? I mean, all the ridiculous crap that goes on. And I mean, for goodness sake, Vin Diesel has killed people with pens before, so I mean, there you go. You got your movie.
If you're a My Little Pony fan, you're waiting for your balls to drop. This is for you.
So, all right, so we would definitely. So Happy, we can all agree we like this book.
It was Dave didn't. At least,
okay, Dave didn't, but he's wrong. So.
Oh.
That's okay. I get that a lot. I'm good at it.
I mean, so
that's kind of sad.
We can say that Happy has a lot more questions than answers, but still enjoyable.
I think that's okay, yeah. I think it's okay for someone to have a lot of questions. I like stuff like that.
But I have the most important question. Why was that dude in a cockroach suit?
Oh my god, thank you, yes.
Oh yeah, what was that?
What was that?
Thank you, Keith.
Like, why? Okay, first off, according to, again, not trying to talk about the show, but apparently it's a prawn. It's a shrimp. He is in a shrimp costume, which doesn't answer any more questions at all. But... I don't get why he's in a comic book. Which
can we get a close up of this?
The shrimp costume.
Like, is this
by the way, there's actually a variant cover of the guy in the shrimp costume. Shrimp? I don't think I'm gonna buy it for everybody.
I was kind of hoping for a callback on the prawn thing by the end, but.
Sometimes Grant Morrison will just throw things out there, and you have to figure out what his drug-induced state of mind has told you.
All right, guys. So, sorry, wow. Okay, that was terrible. This is Big Geeky Couch. We reviewed Happy and.
What's the next comic we're going to review? In case people want to read along.
What is the next comic review?
Next on the docket is